Why isn't it playing?
That's good.
Oh.
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we listen to all of their records, and we rank them from worst to best. We also give our biggest banger from each of them if we have one, or our stinker if we have a stinker. Might have some stinkers this week. I don't know. And obviously we're doing Rise Against, so we're going to rank their 9 records, and we're going to try to have a good time doing it. Normally, we start the show out with the 6 Degrees of Tom DeLonge, which I didn't do this week. It's been a rough week with Rise Against.
It's not been a rough. My God, we're already starting with the spite. Like it's just like literally.
There's no spite.
If anybody knows, if anybody's ever listened to this podcast, there's been a long-standing debate whether or not Foo Fighters are better or Rise Against are better. Tyler fucking will die on that hill. That the Foo Fighters are better.
That's a no-no list.
And
that's on
Rise
the
Against
no-no
are
list.
clearly the superior band. Not just music-wise only better. And so no matter what, this week has just been spiked out of spite out of spite.
It's not,
that is it. That's all that's
which
happening.
we'll get more into. Our whole Foo Fighters Rise Against, comparison we'll get more into on the main episode. But
I did do a 6 Degrees. It was really, really easy, actually, because Tim had a guest vocal spot on Alkaline Trio album.
Okay.
Fucking, what's
Easy
that
peasy.
Elvis Costello one? I don't know.
Oh.
They have an album named after like an Elvis Costello song or something, and he was a guest
really?
spot on that one. So yeah, there you go.
I don't remember that. I don't.
My Shame Is True. That's what the album was called. The Elvis Costello his first album was called My Aim Is True. The Alkaline Trio album is called My Shame Is True. There it is.
That's a stupid title.
My Shame Is True.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I just don't like that people like Elvis Costello. That just bothers me. I don't care. I don't fucking like it.
I don't get it. I don't get it either.
It irritates me.
Not at all. It irritates you.
It fucking irritates. It does. It really does. I don't get it.
All right, so then let's get into the rankings. What is your least favorite Rise Against record?
All right, there we go.
All right,
go.
All right.
The Black Market, 2014.
Okay, got it.
Most of this album is Chud filler. The one exception was the acoustic song "People Live Here."
Oh man.
But that's because it was a certified stinker through and through. That was the most embarrassing thing that they've ever fucking done. I cannot even believe that song existed. So I had stopped listening to Rise Against after essentially kind of like The Suffer and The Witness. And then when we started doing the pod, I would go back and listen to a new album they would come out with. But I never heard this one. And that one stood out to me because I was like, wow, this is so fucking bad. Like that was... Like it was so bad, I wanted to make a playlist of just like the worst songs of all time and throw it on there because it was so bad.
That'd be a good playlist to make. That'd be good.
Like it has to be so fucking bad that you listen to the whole thing because you're interested in how bad it is.
Yeah, and then you're interested in hearing what song comes next, what band comes next.
I'm going to put that in the show notes, and I'm going to start it now with this one.
Oh, that'd be good. That's a good idea. I like that. All right. So no banger, obviously.
No.
My number 9 is also The Black Market from 2014, 7th record. No banger on this one. Talk about a boring ass record. Woo! This one is just, I mean, the only thing that I remember from it is the acoustic thing because it was so awful. And there's one, I don't remember, I didn't write down the name of the song, but there is one song that has this kind of like U2 kind of feel to it, the way he's kind of singing and the guitars are kind of droning out a little bit. It's I don't remember the name of the song, but it's terrible. It's terrible. This is I can't even speak.
So mad.
This band is a very one-dimensional band. They do pretty much one thing and that's it. And
That's fine.
Yeah, this is an alt rock record.
You don't hate bands that only do one thing, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
but but
no, that's
even if a band is one dimensional, they gotta have that one dimension has to be good.
Okay,
and this one dimension is not good.
No, this one's not good. No,
for the most part, it's not good. So yeah, just a boring alt rock record. Just I don't know, it's just bad. I don't want to talk about the Black Market anymore. It's just,
that's fine. Move on.
They should have never made a record. I'll get to it later. I'll give away my rankings. So, what do you got for number 8? Go.
Endgame, 2011. Still tough to get through this type of album here. It's just a lot of mid-range chud, nothing fancy, and he's still singing a lot, and it's just not that great unless he's singing and screaming, and so you get kind of like a contrast. And if you like it or love it, at least there's something to kind of like break up the monotony of things that you don't like about either version of his vocals. Endgame is just all mid-range, and that mid-range is just so fucking tough to get through. The song Midnight Hands was actually kind of cool because it really sounded like they were channeling some kind of like early 2000s OC hardcore sound. It was just really, really slow for that. Like if Death by Stereo just did an instrumental that was really, really slow, it was kind of like Midnight Hands.
Oh, that's sad.
That's right.
All right, my number 8 is Appeal to Reason, 5th album from 2008. No banger. This album is just fucking trash. Just trash. I mean, at this point, they've almost completely ditched the screaming and aggressive sound that they built their fan base on. Really, songs are a lot slower. Vocals are way more melodic, which is mind numbing. Just the music just never gets better riff wise or anything it's so annoying. It's just, this record is just so boring in plain old people. And the only reason why it sits higher than the Black Market is because it doesn't have an absolute stinker like the acoustic song or some of the, like the U2 moment and shit like that. This is just straight boring, plain old people, like almost like less than vanilla. This is just bad. Appeal to Reason.
Vanilla.
Why do they make records? Why does this band make records? I don't know. I do not know. I'm asking myself questions like I know. I don't know. So what do you got for number 7?
I mean, we just did an entire pod on the Foo Fighters and wondering the same fucking question of why they also make records.
Foo Fighters.
People buy them.
That listen through was way better than this.
You're high.
Like leaps and bounds better than this.
You fucking are high if you think that, truly.
Brain dead. We'll get more into that on the main episode. Oh, okay. Continue this bad joke here.
It's not a joke. It's fact. Like that show Fact or Fiction, when you had to like pick and choose which one were fact or fiction. This is fact. Is you were fucking absolutely.
I figured that was the premise of the show when it was called Fact or Fiction. So,
well, you never know.
Well, it's true. What do you got for number 7?
Stone actually has the soundtrack to that show.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Dude, he posted last night in his little vinyl group. He said, "Winding down with a drink and the piano version of the soundtrack to Chrono Trigger." Like, why, dude? Just why? Why do you have all these soundtracks to obscure movies? And I mean, Chrono Trigger's not an obscure game, but he has a lot of soundtracks to obscure games.
But the soundtrack to it's Unsolved Mysteries. No, I think it's both.
He does have Unsolved Mysteries. I know that.
He might have both.
Oh, God, he's such a fucking knucklehead. He's such a knucklehead.
Yep, there we go. All right. Number 7 for me is also, well, not also, but it's Appeal to Reason. And when you edit the pod, I want you to go back and really listen to this one, because the opening track of this album sounds just like a Bomb Pop song. And which song, I couldn't place it this week, but it sounds fucking identical to a Bomb Pop song.
Oh, I'm gonna
when
have
you listen to it, there's a lot of fucking songs that Rise Against you that other bands sound like later on, and this is the first of 3 bands total that will bring up. But this sounds stupid, dude. It tapered off so fast after that song. I thought it was just cool because it sounded like the Bomb Pops, and it went into like mediocrity. It got a little bit higher than Endgame because there were remnants here sprinkled of like good old Rise Against days. But it's just this is chud.
Chud, yeah,
it's chud.
I mean, almost everything they have is chud.
Easy Tiger. Half of their stuff is chud. The other half is pretty good.
Well, that's wrong, dude. Well. All right. So my number 7 is Nowhere Generation, their newest album from 2021. No banger. An absolute stinker, though, is the title track, Nowhere Generation. It is a certified stinker. It is a fucking terrible ballad. I was embarrassed. I was fucking embarrassed listening to this song. Why would anybody in the band or the record execs or the producer, engineer, anybody who was in that room thought that this was a good idea? That song is fucking horrendous. It's horrendous. And I wrote that. I use the word horrendous a lot in my show notes this week because there's a lot of horrendous shit on these records and on the album of the week.
God.
So, dude.
It's literally just, it's fucking
literally,
spite, dude. There's literally fucking spite.
It's literally not spite. That's a good British accent.
They don't have spite over there.
What?
They don't even have spite over there.
It's an unknown emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, this in the end, this newest record, it's just more of the same. There's nothing here that they haven't done better. They just do it the same or worse. Like there's nothing here. I mean, it's forgettable. I mean, there's outside of that one ballad, there's like 2 other ballads, and then there's an acoustic song. There were several or many moments actually on this listen through this week that I just skipped the songs because I would get like a minute in, and I knew what was going to happen. Every song is so formulaic, which is fine. A song could be formulaic. That's great. That's a pop song, but when it's bad, I don't want to hear it for another 2.5-3 minutes. I'm done. I'm checking out. There's no way that the bridge or the breakdown is going to be good because based off of their earlier records, even a lot of those bridges and breakdowns are trash. So I don't imagine they've gotten any better because they've never proven themselves. So Nowhere Generation, shit fucking record. I don't even know why I ranked it this high. I really don't know why. I have no idea. I don't know. Really, the only records that matter are the top 2. The top 2. That's it. Everything else after the top 2 is pretty much trash.
Here's how I know that this is out of spite. Because not fuck. You talk about
that's the word of the week is spite.
You talk about like predicting like music, and we literally just did 11 Foo Fighter albums.
Mm-hmm.
And you're either stupid and you never heard music in your life to where you can't predict what the Foo Fighters are gonna fucking write, or you like the Foo Fighters and then hate Rise Against out of spite because the Foo Fighters are so fucking predictable. Every album is predictable, but never once during that listen through or our rankings of the stuff did you ever come up with the word predictable and say that you skipped things because it was predictable. And goddamn,
I did.
Some of those records were incredibly difficult to get through.
There were also a lot of Foo Fighters songs that I did skip.
Oh, now
I will say that.
Oh, now.
I did skip.
Oh, now after the fact,
did skip,
we skipped them. Okay.
But the reason why I skipped was because it's just like it was boring. It was boring. Rise Against is bad. There's a difference between boring and bad. I can get through the boring.
I'd rather listen to bad than boring any of the week. I'd rather listen to good or bad, but that middle ground is just always the fucking worst.
I'm not saying the Foo Fighters was an easy listen through because it wasn't. There were some like Sonic Highways. That was a shit record. It's not fucking good. Like half of their records are not good. They have songs that are fucking
like one
great.
record wasn't good.
What?
All Foo Fighters, all but one record was not good.
Okay, that's fair.
Even that one record, I probably wouldn't even fucking... No, this is silly boy talk. I wouldn't even rank it 2, so...
Remember how pissed you got, too, when you looked it up, what my fucking favorite record was?
Oh, yeah.
And you spoiled it for everybody?
Oh, yeah, immediately.
God, you idiot. All right, let's move on. What do you got for number 6? Go.
Wolves
in wolves clothing.
Wolves? I don't know. This was slightly back to form from what I want out of Rise Against. These songs were fast, heavier, harder. Still not very exciting. The song Bullshit, though, that's a pretty rad song. It's a fast tempo, cool, like back and forth with everyone just shouting bullshit. And that was fun. And I don't know. That's fine. I didn't play this, though.
It's fine. Okay. My number 6 is Endgame from 2011, their 6th album. No banger. But there is a song worth mentioning, and it is Broken Mirrors. Only because it has that heavy ass guitar riff, which they hadn't really done since their first couple records, and it was kind of nice to hear something different and I don't know. That was fine. The lead guitar was weak, but it's always weak. They don't have a strong suit. Honestly, this band has nothing that they're really good at. And another reason why. Wait, what?
That's okay. Not every band has to be like great at something. The Foo Fighters aren't great at anything.
But also the song "Broken Mirrors," I heard a little bit of AFI's "Miss Murder" in there as well. Like that kind of bounciness to it, that kind of Green Day bounciness to it was different. So it set that song apart. Not to say it was a banger, but it was something that set the song apart from the rest of the record. And then the bridge, the breakdown had this like Tool kind of very, very short and brief buildup that normally Tool would have done for like 10 minutes straight with no payoff. But they did it for like 20 seconds, which is fine. The Tool buildup. But yeah, I don't know. This is just the only reason why this one is a little bit higher is because it's a little bit heavier, and that's about it. There's a little less ballad stuff, a little less slow shit, and it's still not a good record, man. We're like at this point, okay, so we have our world famous 3-point rating system where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So at this point, we're still sub 1. We are still sub 1.
I would agree here.
Like there's nothing here that I would recommend to anybody.
No.
Because it's just trash.
Yeah, no,
it's not fucking good, dude. This band is not good.
Well, hold on there, Tiger, because they've been really, really good, but these are not that.
Ay. So what do you got for number 5?
Nowhere Generation. I didn't think there's anything really inherently wrong with this. It's still fast. It's punchy. These songs, I mean, they don't quite hit as hard as the band used to be, but that's understandable. They're older, and they just don't want to do the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again like the Foo Fighters do, and that's okay. But there's nothing great about this. There's nothing really good about this. This is their most Foo Fighters album that they've ever done. This is their Foo Fighters album. It's just fucking right down the middle. That's it. Boring. That's it. But
it's a bad album. Nowhere Generation is a bad album.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm still sub 1 here. My number.
Okay, good.
Number 4 gets into the
like
into the high ones.
That's stupid.
High
dude.
ones.
So my number 5 is Wolves. Their 8th album from 2017. No banger, no banger at all here. The song though, "Welcome to the Breakdown," is a little bit different from the rest of the record. It's faster, a little bit more aggressive musically, some bigger, heavier riffs. Honestly, something we hadn't heard from the band in a very long time, which is, goddamn, dude. They do heavy stuff well sometimes. But this song didn't. What are you laughing about?
Because there are good things about this band, even if you fucking hate his vocals. There are good things about this band. There 100% are. There's a lot of good things about this band, even if you can get over his vocals parts and anything else. There's like a ton of good shit about this band. Like it's unreal that you're sticking to the spite here. That's fine though.
It's not spite.
I've done it before. I don't
even think you know what the definition of spite is. You don't even know what spite means.
It's fine.
You don't even know what it means. You can't even spell spite.
Okay.
You can't even spell it.
Sprite. Sprite. That's what it is.
All right. So this album is really only better because it doesn't sound as phoned in as the prior 10 years of this band, or even longer than that. Shit. Just because it has some more aggressive, faster moments. There is even one song, I didn't write down the name of it, but there is one song that has like this reggae thing going on with it during like the first part of the verses, like the first half of the verses, and it comes out of nowhere. It makes no fucking sense. It's not that great, but it breaks up the monotony of the record. Just these two like half verses. And do you remember what I'm talking about here?
In Wolves? No.
In Wolves. I didn't write down the name of the song, but yeah, it's only a reggae thing because they're doing like the upstroke thing.
There was a couple songs in Nowhere Generation where they inserted like some Skrillex era dubstep into the song very briefly.
Yeah, but that was very subtle. But it wasn't like, God, it was exhausting. But in this one, it was like they were still using like the heavily distorted guitars, but they were doing the upstrokes on it. and it was just like, okay, you're doing something a little bit different, but it still doesn't sound good. So yeah, Wolves is my my number 5. Let's move on. What do you got for number 4?
All right, now we're getting into. I would probably give this a 2. Honestly, everything else is now a 2.
Okay,
and that's the Unraveling, their first album.
Oh, okay, their first one, yeah.
Yeah, this is solid. This is good. This is just good, like fast punk stuffs. Like Tim singing was a little sometimes, but overall the songs were solid. Nothing drifted too far from that formula, so like the record didn't take a lot of chances. Played it very safe, but that's what most fucking punk bands do, especially with their first album. This was just a fun ride. Like these guys just got together and cranked out a lot of solid hardcore punk tunes, and it was fun. Weight of Time, dude, this is a very like typical Epitaph era punk sounding song, but god damn, it's just fucking fantastic. Great bass line. The tone itself is great. Plus when he's banging on those toms, like the that Pennywise thing, oh yeah. Man, yeah, I kills for the pills. Yeah, good album. Good fucking album.
All right, so that was your 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my number 4 is the album of the week, The Sufferer and the Witness.
So you can do 4, 3, 2, 1. Is that what's going to happen, or 4, 3, 1, 2?
Okay, we'll see. Fine. So what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is the album of the week, Sufferer and the Witness.
Okay, that's fun. My number 3 is Siren Song of the Counterculture. This is the album that we were actually going to do on the pod until a few days ago, and really this is like a slowed down version of their second record. I don't think it's particularly good. You just see this band get more and more melodic, alt rock, radio friendly, which, you know, for a lot of bands that's fine, but they don't do it well. They're like, none of them are that great at their instruments, at writing songs, vocally especially. It's horrific, horrendous, I should say. Yeah, Siren Song of the Counterculture. I remember, dude, this album. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. But there is a banger on here, a playlistable banger. It is their best song. It is their best song. State of the Union, the opening track on this record, blows me away. I cannot believe this is Rise Against. Like this is a good fucking song. And you tricked me like a couple years ago. You played the song and I'm like, dude, this song's really good. And you're like, yeah, no, it's awesome, man. It's so good. I said, who is this? And like, try to guess. And I could not guess. It was like the Sugar Ray thing. Like when you hear Aim for Me, you're like, what the fuck? Who is this band? What is this band? You find out it's Sugar Ray. It was like that. Noise? It was like that. And when I found out it was Rise Against, I was blown away. I had to rethink my life. But then I went back and listened to this record, and this is a couple years ago, and I went back and listened to this record, and it was just like, dude, why? What is this? This is trash. This album's not good. It's fucking trash. So yeah, Siren Song of the Count. The only thing it has is that it still has some of that aggression and screaming, because he is a good screamer. He is. Tim is a really good screamer. It's just a shame that he decides to go more melodic, when that's definitely not his strong suit. State of the Union, absolutely recommend it. Beyond banger right there. So that's my number 3.
Okay, all right.
What do you got for number 2?
RPM, revolutions per minute, 60 revolutions per minute. This is
this is my regular speed.
This is a tighter version of the first album. These songs were crafted better. Everyone's meshing well. They're jamming and writing songs together rather than trying to put together a fast, hard punk album. This is also way heavier than the first album, and I'll get to it in my top here. But this one just took the punk sound and just made it darker and heavier. And this is like their darkest kind of album, not like in necessarily tone or lyrical content, but like everything just feels darker. Everything feels heavier, even if it's not. It's just I can't quite put my finger on why it is like that, but it just fucking is. Okay. Okay. And here's the second shout out to another band, but Last Chance Blueprint. Yeah. This song, dude, I love this song. This song is fantastic. It had everything I love from this era of music. And then I realized that the Gold Song by the Bouncing Souls is this fucking song.
Really?
Yeah. And the Gold Song came out 3 years after this. And I was fucking blown away, dude. Like, again, now you have two things to listen to, right? When you're
you have to remind me though. Like you have to like text me this so I remember.
Okay, I'll write it as you're talking and you're number 2. I'll put in the notes.
But the other one too, because I already forgot.
The Bomb Pops one. But yeah,
the Bomb Pops,
it was fucking crazy. I was like, God damn, I cannot believe that let's beat today, my heart's get to beat today. Like that whole tone, that whole melody, that everything is this song. Crazy.
I don't like that you can say a band ripped off Rise Against, because there are a lot of moments that Rise Against sounds like they're ripping off somebody else. So
AFI, is that who you're bringing up?
AFI, NoFX, Thrice. I hear there's a lot of Thrice that they rip off. A little bit of Yellow Card. I hear that. I hear that shit, man. At the drive-in, which we'll get into.
Like one thing they did.
I mean, when they actually do something outside of
get out of
boring
here.
vanilla
They
music.
came out the same fucking time as Thrice did. It wasn't like Thrice had like 5 albums by the time Rise Against came out. They were like a year apart.
Yeah, I understand that, but the stuff that we'll get into it on the main episode, because there are songs on the album of the week that sound like Artist, but the album came out like 3 years after Artist did. So that's my point. But okay. So your number 2 is RPM.
RPM.
Okay. My number 2 is also RPM from 2003. This overall, this album is doing the melodic stuff a little bit more, but it's balanced. It's a good balance of the melodic and the aggressive stuff from the first record. It's not overly obnoxious yet. It's still obnoxious, but not overly obnoxious yet. The drums fucking nailed it on this record. It sounds like fucking Smelly is playing this from NoFX. Like the drums are tight. It has that Fat Wreck sound drumming wise. I would that's what I was most blown away by, were the drums and how just crisp and just perfect it sounded.
Dude, honestly,
I thought
he's a better drummer than Smelly. I'm gonna fucking say it. He's a better drummer than Smelly. He does more things than Smelly does. Smelly does that you're like that thing really great, really tight. But this guy can do everything. He is so fucking good. He is amazing. He is better than Smelly. Done.
Don't agree. But
done.
I also hear some Thrice on here, like early Thrice, like Identity Crisis Thrice on here, with some of the riffage. Not really the song structures or melodies and things like that. It's more some of the riffage. But that's really why this is higher, and also because it's a harder record. My banger is Dead Ringer. It's just a good hardcore punk song in a minute and a half. That's it. That's all you get. I love the stupid, simple build-up in the bridge, too. I like that. Dude, they should have just stuck with the hardcore roots. They could have been, like, this band could have been a really great hardcore punk band. Had they expanded more on their first and second record and kept more with that style rather than moving to melodically. I don't know, man. They could have, I feel like, if they expanded their style more into the hardcore realm and like did like, the different kinds of breakdowns, and I don't know, man, they just going into the melodic, radio friendly all rock stuff that they started to do in the following third and fourth record and newer.
But you keep saying like radio friendly, dude. Like the next album or their third album opens up with their most un-radio friendly song they've ever done.
No, you're right. Well, that
Suffer in the Witness is for sure the radio friendly stuff. But like, what do you want them to do? Just play the same fucking hardcore punk sound over and over and over?
If they're good at it,
Trauma.
If they're good at it,
they want to make fucking money. They don't want to work a fucking job when they come back.
But they are so bad.
That's stupid.
They are so bad. They are so fucking bad.
I just don't understand why you don't have this much negative things to say about the most generic rock band that has ever existed with the Foo Fighters.
Because Dave Grohl has fucking talent. God. Dave Grohl is talented.
Not in the Foo Fighters?
None of these guys. Okay. Well, we're going to step back here a little bit. We'll get into this on the main episode. So right. What do you got for your number 1?
I get it. Okay. Like objectively, Siren Song of the Counterculture is not their best suit. It doesn't showcase kind of like anything that they're really, really good at. Even if you like the more like Suffer and Witness stuff and then Beyond, like that's not really here. And like the punk aggressive stuff isn't really here either. But this holds such a soft spot in my heart that it's always gonna be my favorite. This is what got me into them. This is the first thing that I heard by them. And I think it's fucking fantastic. I love it. They got a big time producer here with Garth Richardson. So the album is definitely very, very polished, right? Even like, I know you don't like the lead stuff that they do, the lead guitar stuff, but what they do well with the lead guitar stuff is they kind of do it like on the offbeat. And Garth, working with Rage and then working with everybody else in the new metal realm, like everybody just hits the like solos and everything on beat, 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 beat. But what Rise Against was kind of doing was letting notes play out a little bit, letting things ring out a little bit longer, coming in at weird times. None of that is here. But you can hear them, they want to do it. They're trying to do it. But I think Garth held them back. I think this album could have been... Dude, this album could have been so much better if they didn't have Garth. I think he fucking ruined this album. It's just... It's too gross. It's too polished.
It's too
and
gross.
the songs are fucking here, dude. These songs are here. This is an amazing album. Whatever. Everyone essentially is like mastering their craft to this point. Like this is like the best they've played together. Everyone's at their best, except for Tim, which I think his songwriting got better on the next album. But drums and bass on point with each other. Both guitars layer on top of each other better than they've ever done and will ever do. And I don't know. So it's kind of funny too, because the album that Garth finished producing before this one was The Curse by Atreyu.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, I don't fucking think he knew what he was doing with this album. I don't think he knew what he was doing with these guys. These guys are just kind of like dirty and gritty. And Atreyu is like way more complex and what they were trying to accomplish. This is just...
It's also like working with much better musicians too. Like in all fairness.
But it's not about working with better musicians, because you can be a shit musician, Blink-182, and then come out with amazing fucking historic albums, so long as you have a producer that understands that you're shit musicians but write good music.
Also, the songwriting capabilities that Mark and Tom have are just far, 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 like beyond far superior to the guys in Rise Against. Like, that's
we're not comparing the musicianship between the two. We're comparing the producers and getting somebody like Garth out of this spot. That's why Jason Livermore and Bill Stevenson were the fucking perfect pair to produce these albums, is because both of them came from, right? Jason Livermore was essentially just a drummer for various different bands, and then joined the Blasting Room with, Bill Stevenson, Black Flag Descendants, like historic icon. So I think Garth ruined this fucking album. I think he's the worst thing that ever happened to this era, and they are lucky that they got it. And Swing Life Away, I love that song. I think it's a fucking banger. I love it. I love everything about it. I like his pacing. I like the melody. And then it'll go into my origin story. But obviously, State of the Union is my favorite song. That's my favorite Rise Against song. It's their best song.
Hands down.
It's perfect. It's a perfect fucking song.
It is. It is a well-crafted song. Heavy, aggressive. That's an incredible song.
Dude, but some of these songs, like Blood to Bleed, you hear them trying to
bleed.
Blood to bleed. Get out of here. Get the fuck here. You can hear them trying to break free from just wanting to just do everything on that 4-beat. Boom, 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 boom. Let's not do that. You can hear them trying to do things outside of it. But then you also just know that Garth is the reason why they kept everything simple, because they've never even on Suffer and the Witness, there's times where they don't do that. Prayer of the Refugee we'll talk about. They don't really do that well. So I don't know. Garth fucking ruined this album. This album could be so much better, but I love this fucking album.
Okay, all right.
This is my fave.
All right, my number one is their first album, The Unraveling, from 2001.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that going in. I knew that going in.
And that's fine, because it really is their best record. It has a lot of Bad Religion here, but a more aggressive, edgier Bad Religion style. His screams are great. Some of the melodic stuff is obviously questionable because he's not a good singer. I was disappointed a bit, because I was expecting more of a more raw, hardcore sounding record. I thought it was going to be heavier. I really, really thought it was going to be a heavier record. And I was basing this off of State of the Union, because that is arguably their heaviest song. And I thought, okay, I thought State of the Union was I thought it was going to be like a throwback to their first record. So I expected this record to be like State of the Union and be just as aggressive, if not more so, more screaming and this and that. So I actually was a little bit disappointed by this one, because my expectations were high. And then, after this record, man, Talk about a band in decline. But my banger is The Art of Losing. Sounds, like I said, Bad Religion, a lot more hardcore, Solid Screams, Stained Glass, and Marble, also a banger. Just straight fucking hardcore. I playlisted both of those songs right away.
Good boy.
Just absolute banger hardcore songs. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got on Unraveling. It's not. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They didn't do anything special. They just did the hardcore sound pretty good, pretty good.
So good. No, it's like this is like their safest record. It's fine. It's fine.
That's fine. It's good. It's
fine. It's a dime a dozen here.
Yeah, we rave about the Bouncing Souls, and everything they do sounds exactly the same.
No, that's true too. Except that he's got a good croon.
That's true, and the songs are way catchier. Songs are way catchier too. Anyway, that's all I got for the rankings. So let's end this one. Go listen to the main episode because we are getting into the Sufferer and the Witness from the Rise Against. So that's it. That's all.
Killing.